Hi, my name is Remy and welcome to Remy's Rules and Reviews. Today I want to show you guys a game called Parade by Z-Man Games. This is part of their deluxe card game, so it's the second game of that series. The first one being Black Spy, which I hope to do a review on soon. In this game you get a deck of cards, you get the rulebook, which is, as you can see, fairly small, and the game is fairly simple, and you get 6 coasters. The coasters are really only there as a gift to you, so you can use them while playing the game if you want to. They have no part in the game. So this game is a 2 to 6 players game. The rules are the same whether you're playing with 2 or 6 people, with only one slight change. This is a good game to play with different kinds of players. So this is usually a game we will use or play with when we have like our gaming group is playing with our girlfriends. So being able to play up to 6 is a good thing, and since the rules are fairly simple, it's easy to play a bunch of games, and everybody can play along. It's a fairly short game. On the box it says 45 minutes. That's pretty accurate. I would say anywhere between 30 minutes and 45 minutes is a regular game. So let's jump right in to the setup of the game. The first thing you're going to do is grab all the cards, shuffle them, and create the start of the parade. So the first thing you're going to do is give each player 5 cards. So let's say we're playing a game with 3 players. So I would deal 5 cards to each player. Those cards remain secret and can be looked at by the players, by each player. And then we would create the beginning of the parade. So to do this, we will reveal 6 cards, like so, and put the rest of the draw pile, or put the draw pile at one end. This, starting from the draw pile, would be the beginning of the parade, and on this side is the end of the parade. So, as you can probably see, those cards are, or the game takes place in Alice in Wonderland universe. So you've got the Cheshire Cat, you've got the Mad Hatter, you've got Alice eventually is one of the cards. The game is made of 11 cards in 6 colors, so 66 cards total. You've got yellow cards, blue cards, green cards, black cards, red cards, and I'm probably missing one right now. Oh, purple cards. There you go. So 6 types of cards. The objective of the game is to try and not gain points, or be the player with the less points at the end of the game. The way the turn sequence plays out is fairly simple. The first thing you do when it's your turn, you pick 1 card in your hand and you add it at the end of the parade. The second thing you would do is you may take some cards from the parade and place them in front of you. So I will explain a bit more on that later, because that's the main rule of the game. If you want, that's where the action takes place, and that's how you gain more points. So you will try as much as possible to avoid taking cards from the parade, and then at the end of your turn you simply draw 1 more card, so you get back to 5 cards in your hand, and the next player goes. So a player's turn is fairly simple. We would keep doing this as long as there are cards in the draw pile, or until one of the player has the 6 different colors in front of him. When you play a card at the end of the parade, you need to look at 2 things. The first one being the number on the card, the second one is the color of the card. So when you look at the number on the card, this tells you two different things. The first one is you will ignore that many cards placed in front of that one in the parade. So since I played a 4, I would completely ignore the first 4 ones. So this one, this one, this one, this one. I ignore those, and in the remaining cards in the parade, I would take all the cards of the same color of the card I played, so all the yellow cards, and also take any card that has a value equal or less to the number I played. So in this case, I would grab any card that ranges from 0 to 4 in any color, and I would also grab all the yellow cards. But remember, if I play this card right now, I am not picking up any card because I ignore the first 4 ones. I don't bother with the 4 green and those 2 yellow cards, so I only look at those 2. And in those 2 cards, no cards are of a value lower or equal than the 4 I played, and there are no yellow cards, so I don't pick up anything. If I continue, I picked up a 5th card at the end of my turn, then the following player would go, and let's say he puts down 3 red. So if he does this, he ignores the first 3 cards, and then in the 4 remaining cards he would grab any card that has a value of 3 or less and any red cards, which means he would grab the 8 red, he would grab the 5 red, and he would grab the 1 yellow. Now what you do is bring the parade to the front of the parade, and that player would pick a new card for his hand and leave those cards in front of him. So let's just have a look at those cards, how they work. When you score cards, like the player number 2 just did, you stack them by color. So he would place the 4 and the 5 and the 8 red together, and then the 1 of yellow on a different pile. You always try and leave the numbers visible so every player knows what they are. So this information is public. You keep doing this player by player as long as either there are cards remaining in the draw pile, or until one of the player has collected the 6 different colors, so at least 1 card of the 6 different colors. When that happens, the first of the 2 happens, this triggers the last turn of the game. So every player, including the player that either drew the last card from the draw pile or that just collected the 6th color, so every player, including that player, has 1 last turn. In that last turn, whether the draw pile is depleted or not, the only difference is you play a card, you take the cards from the parade that you should take, but you do not draw 1 more card. So even if there are cards remaining in the draw pile, you don't draw any cards. So every player will end the game with 4 cards in their hand and a bunch of cards, or hopefully no cards, in front of them. What you do at that point is take 2 cards from your hand that you will add to the cards in front of you and discard the other 2 cards. So the 2 cards you pick, you would just place them in front of you face down to wait for every player to choose their 2 cards, and once everybody has made up their mind, then you would reveal them and add them to your scoring area. So I'm just gonna go ahead and create some or simulate the end of the game, just so you can see how it works out. Alright, so I've set up the example here so you can see how the end of game triggers, or the last round of the game triggers. Before I trigger it though, I just want to explain really quick how you score the points in the game so you better understand what's about to happen. So the first thing you do once the game is over and every card has been played, including the 2 cards you add from your hand at the end of the game, each player, or you need by color, sorry, for each color you need to see which player has the most card of that color. So as we're set up right now, I have the most red cards. The player to my right has the most blue cards. Me and the player to my left are tied for the black cards, and we're all tied for the yellow cards, and player number 3 here has the most green cards. So what happens at the end of the game only is when the player with the most card of a single color flips them over, so you can't see the value of the cards anymore, the number on the cards anymore, and all those cards are now worth 1 point each. So you would do this for every color. So since we're tied for black, we would both flip our black cards over. We're all tied for yellow, so we would all flip our yellow cards. This guy has the most blue cards and the most, no, I had the red cards. He's got the most purple. Okay, so this is kind of a weird setup, but that's how you would count the points. So I would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points. He would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points, and he would have 1 point for each flipped card, so 4 points for those. And you also add the value or the number on each card that is still face up. So this one is worth 0, this one is worth 2 points, and so on. So 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 9, 15 points. So the player to my left would win the game, because he only has 5 points, and remember, the goal of the game is to have the less amount of points. So this is what's about to happen when you end the game. But before we do this, we need to actually end the game. Okay, so let's say it's the player to my right's turn to play right now, and he's got a bunch of different things he can do right now. So, but he wants to grab the one purple to trigger the end of game. So the only card he can play to do that is the one green. So if he plays this, he ignores the first one, and then in all the remaining cards of the parade, he grabs everything that's 1 or lower and every green card. So he would grab the one purple, the one blue, and the 4 green, and then put everything back together. And since he now has the 6 different colors, this triggers the end of game, so or the last turn of the game. So for this turn, he still draws a new card at the end of his turn, and now it's the last turn of the game. So it would be back to me. I don't have great cards in my hand, but what I will do is play the 10 green. So this allows me to ignore the next 10 cards. So since there are less than 10 cards in the parade right now, I don't pick up anything. And remember now, I don't draw a new card because this is the last turn. The other player goes also. What will he try to do? I think he's just gonna try and not pick up anything. So he's gonna play the 9 black. Again, there are less than 9 cards in the parade right now, so he doesn't pick up anything. And it's back to player on my right. Now he's probably gonna want to play or keep the 2 green cards just to make sure he's got the most green cards in his hand. So probably not gonna play those cards. So again, I think I'm just gonna go and play a 9 red. So since there are only 8 cards in the parade in front of the new card I just played, I ignore every one of them, don't pick up anything. So now the game is over. So every player in secret chooses 2 cards in his hand. and I'm probably gonna get destroyed. So I just picked those two cards and I get rid of the other two, so they're discarded, they're removed from the game. So every player would do something similar in secret, and once everybody has made their choice, every player reveals the cards they chose and add them to their scoring area. So as you can see here, I was clearly trying to be the sole leader on the amount of yellow cards so that I could flip them over, and that 10 would have become a 1. But then that player also added 2 yellow cards, so he's gonna be the one flipping the yellow cards, and I will score a lot of points. So this is the kind of bluff that happens at the end of the game when you try and figure out what card that other player might add to his board and what card you can add to the board, so to try and score less points. Now, so we can pretty much remove the parade at this point. It doesn't matter. We don't need it anymore. So now we score points. So we're gonna have a look. I'm just gonna switch the cards around so it's easier for you guys to see. Okay, so color by color, we're gonna see which player has the most cards of that color and flip them over. So clearly the most blue, flip them over. I've got the most red. Player number 2 has the most yellow. We are both tied for the black color, so we're both gonna flip our black cards. He's got the most purple ones and he's got the most green ones. So and now you just add the points. So remember, you get 1 point for each face down card, plus you add the number on every card that's still visible. So this player has 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 13, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So 24 points. Remember the 0 here is worth 0 points. So 24 points for the first player. He is clearly going to win. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 points. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14, 15, 25. So my idea here of adding a 10 at the end to try and flip the yellow cards clearly backfired on me, because he also added 2 more cards. So I lost. So the player number 2 won the game. So that's how you play a game of Parade. The only difference in the 2-player game is when you flip the cards, or when you try and see who's got the most cards of a specific color. To be able to flip them face down, you need to have 2 cards more, so at least 2 more cards than the other player. So if in the case of the black cards, that we both had 2 cards here, then neither of us would have been able to flip them, so we would have scored whatever value the cards actually are. If I had, or do I have an example here? Yeah, the yellow cards here, if you ignore this player, so we wouldn't have been able to flip the black cards because we are tied with 2 cards, and the second player would not have been able to flip the yellow cards either, because he only has 1 more card than me. So he would have needed a 4th yellow card to flip them over. So in a case like this, he would have been able to flip them, but like this he can't flip them over. So that's Parade by Z-Man Games. As you can see, it's a fairly simple game. It's 2 to 6 players, which allows you to pull that game out in a lot of different situations. It's also very easy to teach and to learn, so you can play that game with non-gamers, and it's easy to pick up. That was one of the main reasons I got the game in the first place. Hopefully you've enjoyed watching this video. If you have, leave a comment below or subscribe to the channel, and thanks for watching.